Look closely at your life. Not the curated version you show on social media, but the raw, unfiltered reality that stares back at you at 3 a.m. The crushing weight in your chest, the fog in your brain, the calendar that looks less like a schedule and more like a prison sentence. You are running. You have been running for years. And yet, look at the horizon. It is no closer than it was a decade ago. Why? Because you are caught in a biological betrayal. You were raised on a lie so pervasive, so elegant, and so poisonous that you defend it even as it kills you. From the moment you entered the school system, you were indoctrinated into the cult of effort. They told you that merit is a straight line. They told you that if you suffer enough, if you sacrifice enough sleep, if you deny enough of your own desires, the world will eventually hand you a crown. They lied. The world does not reward those who carry the heaviest stones. It rewards the one who owns the quarry. History is not written by the sweating masses who built the monuments. It is written by the architects who dined in the shade while the builders died in the sun. The hardest workers in the history of mankind were the slaves of Egypt, the serfs of feudal Europe, the factory workers of Victorian England. They worked harder than you ever will, and they died with nothing but calluses and broken backs. Right now, you are building a monument to someone else's glory. You feel that silent rage, don't you? That creeping suspicion that the game is rigged. It is rigged. But Niccolo Machiavelli, the Grand Master of strategy, knew how to rig it back. He knew that power is not generated by friction. It is generated by leverage. We are about to dismantle your entire belief system regarding work, money, and value. We are going to perform a forensic autopsy on the Protestant work ethic that governs the Western world. I am going to show you why your ambition is being weaponized against you. I will show you the difference between the beast of burden and the sovereign mind. This is not a motivational speech. This is a deprogramming session.
Chapter 1. The Industrial Cage. The Origin of the Lie. To understand why you are exhausted, we must go back to the scene of the crime. We must look at where this specific brand of virtuous suffering was invented. It was not inherent to human nature, it was engineered. Go back to pre-industrial England. A peasant worked hard, yes, but he worked in rhythm with the seasons. He worked intensely during the harvest, but in the winter he rested. He drank ale. He spent time with his kin. His labor was dictated by the sun and the soil. Then came the Industrial Revolution. The machine arrived, and for the machine to be profitable, it had to run 14, 16, 18 hours a day. But humans are not machines. Humans have rhythms. Humans get tired. So the industrialists, the first true architects of the modern age, faced a problem. How do you force a free man to act like a cog? You do not just use a whip. Whips create rebellion. You use a stronger chain, morality. They allied with the church and the state to create a new morality. They preached that idleness was a sin against God. They preached that the devil finds work for idle hands. They equated punctuality with piety. They replaced the rhythm of the sun with the tyranny of the clock. This was the birth of the 9 to 5. It was not designed for your productivity. It was designed for their control. The school system was created shortly after, modeled on the factory floor. Bells to signal transition, rows of desks, silence, obedience, doing repetitive tasks without asking why. You are the product of centuries of genetic breeding for obedience. You feel guilty when you relax because your ancestors were punished when they relaxed. You feel anxious when you are not productive because the system has installed a policeman inside your own head. But look at the elite of that same era. Look at the aristocracy. Did they work 16 hours a day in the coal mines? Did they toil in the textile mills until their lungs turned black? No, they engaged in leisure.
They studied philosophy, war, and politics. They managed their estates. They controlled the capital. They understood a secret that has been kept from you. Labor is for the poor. Strategy is for the rich. The deception is that they convinced you that you could labor your way into the aristocracy. They dangled the carrot of social mobility. But look at the mathematics. A worker selling his time can only scale linearly. There are only 24 hours in a day. You cannot outwork the math. The owner, however, scales exponentially. He leverages the time of 1,000 workers. You are trying to win a game of multiplication by using addition. You will always lose.
Chapter 2. The Churchill Paradox. The Power of Rest. Let us examine a case study from the highest echelons of British power. Let us look at the man voted the greatest Briton of all time, Winston Churchill. During the darkest days of World War II, when the fate of the free world rested on his shoulders, how did Churchill operate? Did he panic? Did he run around the war rooms sweating and screaming? Did he wake up at 4 a.m. to grind? No. Churchill famously stayed in bed until noon. He dictated speeches to his secretaries while wearing his silk dressing gown, smoking a cigar, and drinking champagne. He took a 2-hour nap every single afternoon. He played cards. He laid bricks in his garden for relaxation. Now contrast him with his enemy, Adolf Hitler. Hitler was a manic grinder. He was fueled by methamphetamines. He stayed up for days. He micromanaged his generals. He was obsessed with constant motion, constant attack, constant busyness. Who won? The relaxed strategist destroyed the frantic grinder. Why? Because Churchill understood the Machiavellian principle of the reserve of force. He knew that decision-making requires a clear, rested mind. He knew that one correct strategic decision, like refusing to surrender in 1940, was worth more than 1,000,000 hours of frantic labor. When you are exhausted, your IQ drops, your emotional control shatters, you become reactive instead of proactive. You become easy to manipulate. The corporate world today wants you to be Hitler, not Churchill. They want you frantic. They want you answering emails at midnight. They want you on Slack on the weekends. They want you to believe that sleep is for the weak. But look at the board of directors. Look at the shareholders. They are playing golf. They are on their yachts. They are like Churchill. They are resting so that when the moment comes to make a decision that affects 1,000 lives, their hand does not shake. You must reclaim your leisure, not as a way to recharge so you can work harder for them, but as a weapon to reclaim your mind. In the silence, you find the strategy. In the noise, you find only slavery.
Chapter 3. The Mathematics of Leverage, the Rothschild Method. The hard work scam relies on a fundamental misunderstanding of physics. It relies on the belief that output equals input, that if you push the wall with 100 pounds of force, the wall moves. But if the wall is a mountain, you can push until your heart explodes, and the mountain will not care. Machiavelli would tell you to stop pushing. He would tell you to find a lever. Let's look at the rise of the House of Rothschild in the 19th century. Nathan Rothschild did not become the richest man in the world by carrying more gold bars than his competitors. He did not work harder in the physical sense. He used information leverage. During the Battle of Waterloo, the entire London Stock Exchange was holding its breath. If Napoleon won, British bonds would crash. If Wellington won, they would soar. Rothschild had a network of carrier pigeons and fast boats, a private intelligence network that was faster than the government's couriers. He received the news of Napoleon's defeat a full day before the official messengers arrived in London. What did he do? Did he rush to the market and scream, "We won"? No, he acted with Machiavellian cunning. He stood at his usual pillar in the stock exchange, looking dejected, sad, and defeated. He started selling his British bonds. The other traders saw the great Rothschild selling. They panicked. Rothschild knows. Wellington has lost. Sell everything. The market crashed. the price of British bonds plummeted to the floor. Everyone was selling their future for pennies. And then, in the final moments, Rothschild's agents quietly bought up the entire market for a fraction of its value. When the official news of the victory arrived the next day, the bonds skyrocketed. Rothschild multiplied his fortune 20 times over in a single afternoon. Was that hard work? No, that was strategy. That was emotional control. That was leverage. He did not output effort. He manipulated perception. You are sitting in your cubicle thinking that if you just type faster, if you just complete this project perfectly, you will be rich. You are playing the wrong game. You are trading time for money, which is the worst trade in existence, because you can always get more money, but you can never get more time. The wealthy trade money for time. They hire you. You are the time they are buying. To escape, you must stop being the seller of time and become the buyer of assets. An asset is anything that pays you while you sleep. A business, a stock, a piece of real estate, a piece of intellectual property. The code that runs on a server while you sleep is an asset. The YouTube video that gets views while you are on vacation is an asset. The team that works while you play golf is an asset. If your income stops when your hands stop moving, you are not a free man. You are a biological machine owned by the system.
Chapter 4. Corporate Feudalism. Let's modernize the setting. You do not work in a coal mine, most likely. You work in a glass tower, or perhaps remotely from your home. Chains are no longer made of iron. They are made of benefits, health insurance, and quarterly bonuses. We live in a system of corporate feudalism. In the Middle Ages, the serf worked the land owned by the lord. The serf kept a small portion of the harvest to survive, and the rest went to the lord. The serf could not leave the land. He was bound to it. Today, the corporation is the lord. The office is the land. The salary is the small portion of the harvest you are allowed to keep. And the non-compete clause, the mortgage, the debt, these are the laws that bind you to the land. The modern Human Resources Department is the enforcement arm of the Lord. Note the name, Human Resources. You are a resource, like coal, like steel, like electricity. You are there to be consumed. Machiavelli warned the prince that a man who is used to obeying will never know how to command. The longer you stay in the corporate feudal system, the more your mind atrophies. You lose the ability to hunt. You only know how to wait for the feeding time. You become institutionalized. Have you ever noticed how helpless a long-time employee is when they lose their job? They don't know how to generate value directly. They only know how to fit into a pre-existing slot. They ask, who will hire me? The sovereign individual never asks, who will hire me? The sovereign individual asks, where is the market inefficiency and how can I exploit it? The corporate ladder is a scam. It is designed to keep you climbing just fast enough so you don't look down and realize you are hanging over an abyss. They give you a title change, senior vice president. It costs them nothing. It feeds your ego and it buys your loyalty for another 3 years. Machiavelli advises, it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. In the office, you are trying to be loved. You want to be the team player. You want to be the nice guy. The nice guy is the first to be laid off. Why? Because firing him is easy. He won't sue. He won't cause a scene. He won't take clients with him. The feared strategist is kept, not because they like him, but because they are afraid of what will happen if they lose him. He holds the keys to the relationships. He knows where the bodies are buried. He has leverage. Stop trying to be employee of the month. Start trying to be the necessary evil. Start building leverage that makes you dangerous to fire. When you are dangerous, you are free.
Chapter 5. The Psychology of Submission, Stoicism and Surrender. There is a dangerous trend in the modern manosphere and self-improvement circles. It is the misuse of Stoicism. You are told to be stoic, to endure hardship without complaint, to carry the burden silently. Marcus Aurelius is quoted endlessly. The obstacle is the way. But the elite are tricking you. They are using Stoicism to breed better slaves. There is a difference between stoic fortitude and sheep-like submission. Real Stoicism is about emotional control in the face of chaos so that you can maintain your effectiveness. It is about not letting your emotions cloud your judgment while you execute your strategy.
Slave Stoicism is about accepting abuse because you think it makes you tough. When your boss adds another project to your already full plate and you accept it silently because you want to be stoic, that is not philosophy. That is cowardice. That is conflict avoidance masked as virtue. Machiavelli was not a stoic in the passive sense. He was active. He believed in virtue, not virtue in the Christian sense of being good, but virtue in the Roman sense of capability, skill, energy, and ruthless competence. A Machiavellian man does not endure pain for the sake of pain. He endures pain only if it leads to power. If you are suffering and your bank account is not growing, if you are suffering and your influence is not expanding, you are not being a stoic, you are being a victim. You must kill the good boy inside you, the part of you that wants the teacher to pat you on the head, the part of you that is afraid of conflict. Conflict is the forge of power. You must be willing to be disagreeable. Look at these salary negotiations. Who gets the raise? The polite, hard-working employee who hopes the boss notices his effort, or the disagreeable, competent strategist who walks into the office with a competing job offer and says, "Match this or I leave." The world hands you what you tolerate. If you tolerate disrespect, you will be disrespected. If you tolerate low pay, you will be underpaid. You must draw a line in the sand. You must have a walk-away price. Machiavelli taught that a prince must be willing to act against his own nature if the situation demands it. If you are naturally kind, you must learn to be cruel. If you are naturally honest, you must learn to deceive. Not because you are evil, but because you are operating in a world that is not a nursery school. The wolf does not care about the morality of the sheep, and the marketplace does not care about the morality of the worker.
Chapter 6. The Art of Strategic Incompetence. In previous sections, we established that competence is a prison. Now I will teach you how to pick the lock. The key is a concept I call strategic incompetence. The corporate world operates on a simple, predatory algorithm. It assigns work to the path of least resistance. If you are the person who always says yes, if you are the person who does the task quickly and accurately, you become the path of least resistance. You become the dumping ground. You must disrupt this algorithm. You must become a path of resistance for low-value tasks while remaining a path of excellence for high-value tasks. This requires acting. When a task is presented that adds no value to your leverage, fixing the office printer, organizing the holiday party, formatting a spreadsheet that no one reads, you must not only decline it, you must appear incapable of doing it. If you are asked to fix the printer, do not fix it, fumble with it, press the wrong buttons, look confused, say, "I'm sorry, I'm terrible with hardware, I might break it." Do you know what happens? The boss gets annoyed. He sighs. He says, "Fine, I'll get someone else to do it." Victory. You have just saved yourself 20 minutes of frustration, but more importantly, you have saved yourself from a reputation. You are no longer the fixer. You have successfully disqualified yourself from the grunt work. But here is the Machiavellian twist. You must be undeniably excellent at the one thing that generates revenue or protects the boss. If you are a salesman, sell. If you are a coder, code the core kernel. If you are a strategist, provide the winning plan. Be a genius in the boardroom and an idiot in the mailroom. This creates a psychological profile in your boss's mind. He is brilliant, but he is a bit eccentric. He can't handle the small stuff, so we need to save him for the big stuff. That is exactly where you want to be. You want to be saved for the big stuff, the stuff that gets you promoted, the stuff that builds your portfolio, the stuff that matters. Let the type A personalities fight over who creates the prettiest PowerPoint slides. Let them win the contest of mediocrity. You are playing a different game.
Chapter 7. The Theatre of Work. Perception Management. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." The modern office is a theatre. It is a stage play. And most of you are terrible actors. You think that if you are working hard, you look like you are working hard. Wrong. Often the person who is actually working hard looks stressed, messy, and overwhelmed. This does not signal competence to the reptilian brain of the upper management. It signals drowning. Conversely, the person who does nothing but knows how to manage perception looks like a leader. You must master the busy signal. We live in an age where looking busy is more rewarded than being productive, so give them the show. The walk. Never walk slowly in the office. Always walk with a slightly accelerated pace, holding a piece of paper or a notebook. A man walking fast with a notebook looks like he is late for a meeting that creates millions of dollars. No one stops him. No one asks him to change the toner. He is on a mission. The email delay. Never reply immediately. Immediate replies signal that you have nothing else to do. It signals that you are sitting there waiting for their command. Wait. Let them wait. When you reply 3 hours later, it implies you were busy doing something important. It establishes a hierarchy. You control the tempo of communication. The vocabulary of wait. Stop using weak words. I think, maybe, I'll try. Use the vocabulary of the architect. I have decided. The strategy dictates. The data suggests. You are constructing a facade. Behind the facade, you are calm. You are resting. You are building your own business. But on the outside, the facade is a fortress of professional intensity. This is not lying. This is camouflage. In the jungle, the tiger has stripes not to look pretty, but to disappear until the moment it strikes. You need stripes.
Chapter 8. The Architect Mindset. Let us move to the core philosophy of your escape, the difference between the digger and the architect. The digger is paid for the removal of dirt. He is paid by the shovel load. If he stops digging, he stops eating. His income is tied to his physical existence. The architect creates a system that digs. We are living in the greatest era of leverage in human history. In the past, to be an architect, you needed land, slaves, armies, or massive capital. Today, you have the two most powerful armies in the world at your fingertips, and they are practically free. Code, media. Code is an army of robots that never sleeps, never complains, and never asks for a raise. You write the software once, and it works for you forever. It is the ultimate digital slave. Media is an army of evangelists. You record a video once, like this one, and it speaks to thousands, perhaps millions of people 24 hours a day in every time zone. It persuades, it sells, it influences while you are asleep. The hard work scam keeps you focused on labor, on digging the hole. The sovereign individual focuses on building the code or the media. Every hour you spend at your job is an hour you are renting your brain to someone else. That is necessary for survival in the beginning. I am not telling you to starve. But every hour of your free time must be dedicated to building assets. Do not get a second job. Do not drive an Uber. That is just digging in a different hole. Build something. Write a book. Create a course. Build an audience. Develop a software. Patent an invention. You must build something that exists outside of you. Something that can be sold, something that can operate without your constant intervention. This is the only way to escape the gravitational pull of the working class. You cannot save your way to freedom. You cannot budget your way to sovereignty. You must build your way out.
Chapter 9. The Traitor Within. The Exit Strategy. So, how do you execute this transition? How do you go from corporate slave to sovereign architect without going bankrupt? You become a double agent. You do not quit your job in a blaze of glory. That is an emotional outburst, not a strategy. It satisfies your ego but harms your bank account. You stay in the job, but your allegiance shifts. You treat your employer not as your family, the most toxic lie corporate HR ever invented, but as your angel investor. They are funding your startup, they just don't know it. Every paycheck is seed capital for your freedom. Every resource they provide is a tool for your own construction. Steal the knowledge. Look at how your company operates. How do they handle taxes? How do they structure their contracts? How do they acquire customers? This is information that costs millions to learn by trial and error. You are getting it for free. Take notes. Steal the network. Who are the high-value clients? Who are the reliable vendors? Build relationships with them. When you leave, you are not just leaving with a box of personal items. You are leaving with a Rolodex of power. Use the resources. Does your company pay for training, for courses, for certifications?
Take all of them. Maximize every single benefit. Get the best laptop. Get the software licenses. You are a parasite in the biological sense, but a benevolent one. You do your job well enough to not get fired. Strategic incompetence for the small stuff, strategic competence for the big stuff. But your soul is no longer in the building. Your soul is working on your project from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. This period is the hardest. You will be tired. You will be working 2 jobs, one for them, one for you. But the difference is, the work you do for yourself energizes you. The work you do for them drains you. You keep this up until the crossover point, the mathematical moment when the income from your assets exceeds the income from your salary. When that day comes, and if you follow the Machiavellian path, it will come, you do not make a scene. You do not tell your boss to go to hell. You walk into the office, you hand in a polite resignation letter, and you shake his hand. You leave on good terms. You leave as a fox, not a lion. You might need him later. You might need a reference. You might even turn him into a client. Never burn a bridge that you might need to cross to retreat or to attack.
Chapter 10. The Final Revolution. A Call to Arms. The world is shifting. The old contracts are burning. The era of the company man, the loyal dog who is fed and housed until he dies, is over. The companies have broken the contract. They fire at will. They outsource to AI. They outsource to cheaper countries. They have shown you their true face. They are ruthless optimizers of profit. You must become a ruthless optimizer of your own life. You have to stop waiting for permission. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to tap you on the shoulder and say, "You are special, here is your crown." You have to forge the crown yourself in the fire of your own ambition. This path is lonely. The sheep love the herd. The sheep feel safe when they are surrounded by other sheep, even as they are being herded towards the slaughterhouse. When you step out of the line, the sheep will bleat. They will call you crazy. They will call you risky. They will call you arrogant. Let them. Their opinions are the echoes of a dying system. You are listening to the frequency of the future. You are becoming the sovereign, the one who rules himself, the one who owns his time, the one who cannot be bought, bullied, or bargained with because he has his own fortress. This video was the red pill. You have swallowed it. You cannot unsee the matrix now. You cannot go back to your desk tomorrow and pretend it matters. You will see the strings. Use that vision. Let the anger you feel towards the system become the fuel for your exit. Do not get mad, get leverage. Do not scream, strategize. Do not work harder, think deeper.
Conclusion and the architect level. If you have listened this far, you are in the top 1% of the population. The rest turned this video off 10 minutes ago to watch a cat video or a celebrity scandal. They are the builders. You are the architect. But listening is passive. Power is active. What I have shared with you today is the philosophy. It is the why. But you need the how. You need the blueprints. You need the specific psychological tactics to handle a toxic boss while you are plotting your escape. You need the specific negotiation scripts to increase your salary so you have more capital to invest. You need the dark persuasion techniques to build your network. These are dangerous tools. I cannot leave them lying around on the public internet for children to play with. The algorithm suppresses this information because it creates dangerous men who cannot be controlled. I have created a sanctuary for this knowledge. Click the join button below. Step into the architect level. Inside, we strip away the euphemisms. We talk about power in its raw, naked form. We analyze the specific moves of history's greatest manipulators. We build the arsenal that you will use to carve your empire out of chaos. The gate is open. The choice is yours. Stay a builder and wait for the whip, or become an architect and build the world.